One moment. It says upcoming. Oh, never mind. Now it's live. All right. Hello and welcome to the GPL GT500 series, round 5 here at Autopolis in Japan. I'm B23 here with Rekus once again, and we are here to see the continuation of this super exciting series that we've been having so far.
Yes, that is definitely true, B23. We had a very stellar and very hectic race last time out Mount Panorama. We've seen thrills, we've seen spills, the whole 9 yards, and I'm sure we're going to see that again here today.
Oh yeah, all sorts of spills. We had a lot of funny moments with those last time. There was lots of crashes and spinning, and some memes came out of it. And hopefully our drivers can keep it a little cleaner this time around for their own sakes, but either way it'll serve as some great entertainment for us nonetheless.
All right, so now onto some information about the track. Like you said, B23, we want the drivers to keep it clean and consistent. This track is not quite as tricky as Mount Panorama because this track is mostly flat. It is 2.9 miles around 4.6 kilometers. This track is actually fairly new compared to some of the other circuits we've been to during the season. This track opened in 1990. They even sponsored a Formula One team by the name of Benetton, which is now Alpine, and in a bid to get onto the Formula One calendar. Unfortunately, it never did. But this track has 19 corners, hardly any elevation changes, if any. I think there's a slower dip in one of the sections, but it is a real-world circuit, and it uses a mid-speed balance and performance setting, so we're pretty much going to get the cars at a perfect 50-50 between downforce and top speed, which is going to help because there is a massive straightaway on this track, especially coming up to the start-finish straight. A very technical track, but I think that the margin of error is significantly bigger here compared to Mount Panorama because the track is not nearly as narrow. So there should be a lot of good overtaking opportunities here today.
That is
We're
excellent.
seeing some cars out on track, and it's only Lexus is currently on track right now, with the exception of Whiteout Indy NSX. We have Nicholas Boita back on track, the winner from, I believe it was round 3 or round 2. I think so far the only Nissan GTR to win here in this GT500 series. He's back, the Brazilian tire whisperer. And can't wait to see him back on track today. I can't wait to see all of these drivers to get on track. I just saw in the game chat that Kemajur is feeling unwell. We wish him a speedy recovery because being sick absolutely sucks. It is not fun, even if it's like a minor cold to, fevers. Not fun. But what is fun is seeing these extremely talented drivers here on track today around this very popular circuit. I have really not talked to a lot of people that are not a fan of Autopolis. It is honestly, now on the dry track, this track is pretty fun to drive on, but it can be even more challenging in the rain, which fortunately we don't have rain here today, but it is definitely something to think about in other circumstances, but we don't have that here today. Yeah, so now we have a perfect even split of NSX drivers and Lexus drivers on track today, with Nuko having a slight penalty, but it's not going to matter much because it is still just a practice session, I believe. I don't believe we have started qualifying officially yet.
Yeah, we are in practice at the moment. And I've noticed, too, that a lot of these guys, round after round, are updating or changing entirely their liveries just to keep it fresh and creative.
Killswitch. Well, Killswitch added a few extra scrapes to his front bumper as he was just in the wall a few seconds ago, but now he's back on track.
Yeah,
I am also noticing that,
it up, using a Ravens theme. He did use a Ravens theme once before, but it's a bit different this time. Ravens being his football team, and they're playing today, so good luck to them. As are mine, so good luck to mine, selfishly. The Seahawks. But I see Whiteout
Yeah.
has changed his livery up a bit too. Nice white and gray livery. Artura running a completely new livery here with the black and the pink. He told me just before the race that this livery is inspired by the Nissan Formula E team. So hopefully when he gets on track, we'll get a good look at that one too.
He's on track now, or he's just left the pit lane,
Oh,
and
nice.
we're about to see that car.
Yeah, here is that car in question. Very clean, simple design.
Yeah, I can see it. Because I know Nissan actually did pretty good last time out in Formula E, because I actually do watch Formula E. I'm one of like 10 people that actually watch FE sometimes.
Very nice.
Got some good racing there. Hey, who knows? Maybe we'll see that come to Gran Turismo at some point, and we'll be seeing Formula E championships.
That would be cool. I welcome the addition of any and all extra open seaters into the series.
Oh, 100%. You know as much as I, or you just as much as me, we are both suckers for open wheel racing cars. They're just so awesome, and they're really fun to drive too. I haven't really raced with an open wheeled vehicle that I did not have a blast in once I figured it out. But definitely fun. We would definitely welcome the addition of it. But what we do not welcome is cars being stopped out on track. Alex was parked for a bit. Oh, he's off the racing line, but still, he is a parked car out on circuit. So curious to see what that was about. In terms of liveries, I don't think we have any other new liveries aside from the three we mentioned. We still have Boita running his Nissan livery, Yuki with his Red Bull livery, and yeah, Nuko still running his GR Racing livery. And Alex also running his very striking livery. I mean, liveries are such an important part of racing. They're more important than you may believe. I mean, a lot of the iconic cars were made iconic mostly due to their performance, but the liveries also played a very strong part in it as well. Whiteout currently has the fastest time of this race, or of this practice session, with a 1:35. And so it's going to be very interesting to see here today tire strategies, because this is a 50-50 circuit. So it's got so in terms of like balance and performance, there's a few different settings, but the one that's like the perfect middle ground is the mid speed. Because it gives you, because tunes typically, or balance and performance tunes will typically favor either high speed or high downforce. This one is perfectly in the center of that, so you get the best of both worlds. Usually tracks with a lot more straightaway and a lot less technicality, like surprisingly Mount Panorama is considered a high speed track. I mean, it's got a good amount of straight, so that doesn't surprise me too much now that I think about it. But some of the trickier tracks, like say Suzuka or I know Monaco's not in the game, but Monaco, those tracks would be considered higher downforce, so the cars can get more grip and they can turn better at the cost of some additional downforce. Oh, Alex getting a little squirrely there on the exit of that corner there. But hey, it's good to have these accidents when you are in practice compared to the actual full-time race. So right now, we're seeing a lot of half-second penalties, so I think that we might be seeing a good amount of these track limit violations throughout the race, but hopefully not. I think the penalty zone is on the start-finish straightaway on this track, so it's not like it puts them in a compromising spot. I mean, obviously any kind of slowdown is compromising, but you get the idea. It's good to kind of get these accidents out when you're in qualifying, because otherwise it's It's not, or during practice, I mean, but otherwise it's just not great. Oh, actually, I was wrong. It's actually it's in Sector 3. Nuko goes off track just a little bit. But now we're seeing more and more drivers file off into the pit lane, as I believe we are rounding off practice here pretty soon. Arturo now coming down to start finish straight. He will improve his time. He is now a 1:38.
And yeah, that's a good point too. As long as they're exploring the track limits before qualifying to try to find the limit, and so that they don't exceed it when they are in fact in the session, that is best. But usually we see that many track limit penalties. That's a good indication. We'll probably see some in the sessions as well. So hopefully these guys can really get the feel of where their car is here, as Alex goes a bit wide there, touching the grass on exit. And we are starting this quali session now.
All right, so it's qualifying time here in Autopolis. Those outlaps are going to be crucial, but not nearly as crucial as they would be, say, at a track like Spa, where you probably have the longest lap in existence outside of like maybe the Nürburgring 24-hour or Special Stage Route X, which neither are in this series, so nothing to really worry about. Nuko and Luja will be the first cars out on track as they begin their outlaps, but we're going to see all the cars filing in for their outlaps soon as well. Oh, yep, it is Kill Switch, Alex, and Whiteout exit the pits. They're going to be starting their outlaps as well. And so it'll be interesting to see who gets pole position. I mean, the safe bet and the easy bet would be Whiteout, because Whiteout has been unstoppable, or nigh unstoppable, I should say, when it comes to qualifying and the races here in this GT500 season. But will we see a potential twist of fate where a different driver is sitting on pole position today? Maybe like Nuko, Boita, Lujin, Yuki. I think qualifying is gonna be pretty close today. And just to give our fans who may be new here, first off, thank you so much for tuning in and welcome. Make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel so you don't miss any future races for the GT500 season and every other category we will be racing in the near future. So, when it comes to qualifying, you really need only one extremely good lap to start from the front of the grid. And to do that, you're going to want to run the soft tire compound. The soft tire compound gives you the most grip, but it has the worst tire life out of the racing tires in the real world and in Gran Turismo. So you'll definitely want to use those soft tires to your advantage and get the most out of them. It'll usually take a lap or two to get them into their proper tire temperature window, because the heat makes the rubber expand to get more grip. And you definitely want more grip, especially during qualifying when every second matters. You're going to be pushing hard. You're going to say, screw tire life. You're just going to go full force, trying to set the best possible lap and pushing to the absolute limit of these machines. So Nuko is looking like he will be the first one to set a lap time. The French driver, who's been pretty solid in recent events. He was on track to even get a second place or even a potential win last time out Mount Panorama. So he's going to be looking to rectify that and be the first Lexus to get a win. Because we've had a Nissan win and we've had several Honda wins, but not a Lexus win.
Yeah, and we are on board with Nuko as he crosses the line to set his first time, and the bar to meet will be a 1:35, and it's immediately beat by Illusion with a 1:35.633, as Boita picked up a track limit penalty on his on the beginning of his first hot lap there.
Yuki actually also beats Nuko's time, and he's just under 2/10 off of Illusion's time. So as it stands, which we know there's still several other cars that have to set lap times. It's going to be a front row. It's a provisional front row start there for Yuki, as a lot of these drivers are setting times. We'll see where Whiteout gets placed, and Whiteout shoots to the top of the table by a whole second.
Yeah, no huge surprise there, except for the margin is kind of a surprise to me, although it is early on, and I do expect that especially the top drivers are going to keep improving their times as the session continues. But Yuki, a really good job to get within a tenth, less than a tenth of Illusion's time there on his first attempt there. And I know I've been working with Yuki kind of closely. He's been sending me a lot of his practice data to help him with a strategy here, and his lap times are really good at this circuit. So he's going to be my driver to keep an eye on for this race as a dark horse to potentially get a podium or even fight for a win, depending on how the circumstance shakes itself out.
Yuki is definitely a dark horse, no matter what category he's racing in. I've commentated his races in Formula GT, and it's the same thing. If one of the three front runners messes up, Yuki is likely going to be there, ready to snatch a podium. This driver is, if anything else, he is consistent. Consistently fighting and consistently quick as well. So Yuki is always a dark horse and always entertaining to keep an eye on. It's always a safe prediction that Yuki is going to do some magic when it comes to these cars. He's always going to be at least in the top half of the grid. Now we see Boita. I think he's about to try to set a representative up. He is currently in the back of the pack, but he did have a half-second penalty, so that's kind of scuppered his chances a bit of setting an immaculate first lap.
One attempt rather wasted, unfortunately, for Boita, having done an entire outlap and then picking up the track limit penalty on the hot lap. It's just really the most unoptimal timing to pick one up too. So probably missing out on an attempt or two, but nonetheless, he has enough time to get a good lap on the board. And we're on board with him now. We'll see where he ends up as he finishes this last sector here. He does have cars chasing him too. And so they got to be careful there.
Race simulations even before the actual race.
Yeah, exactly.
The Brazilian tire whisperer, he's not going to be too hard on his tires. He will be harder on the tires now than he normally would be, but he's still really good on his tires, so I think he'll still have a lot of grip in these upcoming qualifying lap attempts here today.
Yeah, the car behind was closing in closer and closer and then just stopped. And, I wonder if they just decided to give more of a margin.
Oh, he's going to move up into P6 for Nicholas Boita. Currently sitting in 6th position, but we'll see if he can get a faster lap. I wonder if he's going to take a cooldown lap. He is not. He is just going to continue pushing. He wants to get higher up that grid.
Yeah, Boita is one of the faster drivers over a single lap, although I would say that qualifying is probably not his strong suit. Is over the last few rounds, we've seen him start a few rows back off the leader and just have an excellent start to get his way up into the top few positions. Oh, as he just spins his rear tire touching the grass on exit there. And he should probably, and he does move off the track here as two cars go by. Unfortunate, another attempt gone, pushing just a slight amount too hard, it seemed. But yeah, Boita definitely another dark horse to watch for here in the race. But he's been doing it so consistently, I don't even know if we can call him dark horse anymore. This is almost just to be expected.
Definitely. I mean, we've seen this man start from towards the back of the grid and come back to a podium and even a win on one occasion. So currently the only non-Honda to win a race here in this GT500 season, and he's a tire whisperer. So, I mean, if he can't get somebody on raw pace alone, he's going to get him on tire life. So he is a dangerous person to go against, but an absolute unit to have on your team. Duco's going to set a new time, and he's going to get within 7/10 of Whiteout. The Frenchman's getting a provisional front row start in the Lexus. Now, something to note is that this Lexus machine, they seem very strong in qualifying, but their race pace just kind of falls off sometimes. Although, granted, usually they've also been on the unfortunate end of receiving some unforeseen contact, like what we've seen with Alex here in more recent times. And we've also seen Nuko get unfortunately involved in some lap 1 collisions that kind of scupper his chances of getting a race win, but we'll see how that goes today.
Illusion
So,
with a purple sector as well. I'm keeping an eye on Illusion this lap.
So, B23, what are your predictions when it comes to the tire strategy that we're going to see in the race today?
So, based on what Yuki was sending me, it's going to be a very, very interesting strategy because we were debating between a 1-stop and a 2-stop, and it doesn't really seem like a 1-stop was going to be viable based on the numbers that I was seeing. But the 2-stop even is very interesting because the amount of laps there are is just outside of the range where you can make 2 mediums and 1 soft work. It might just be outside of that range. So we might see a lot of people taking 3 sets of mediums. We might see people even try to incorporate a hard tire in there. You might see a hard, medium, soft. So it really actually opens up a lot of different strategic possibilities here. And I think that is going to be a big factor in today's race where we might see some jumbling of the order based on decisions made there. And,
yeah, especially because some drivers are really good on their tires, like what we were talking about Nicholas Boita earlier. But I think managing tires is going to be a key part of the strategy. I know a zero stop has worked on a few occasions, but it's few and far in between. I mean, so far they have a 100% podium rate.
That is true.
Stop.
Yeah, in this case, I don't even think that the hard tire can make a 0 stop in this particular instance. I best bet they could probably go 20 laps or so. We didn't do a whole lot of running on the hard tire, but the mediums at most should probably go maybe around 15 laps or so. But even then, they would be severely dropped off by the time you get them to that point. And the soft tire probably only 7 or so laps, maybe even less. And that's maxed out as well, so they probably will have been dropped off for a handful of laps by the time they get to 7. So it's going to be kind of rough on tires today.
Yeah, this track is pretty technical, and you do have that 50-50 tire balance to worry about, or the BOP with the mid-speed setup, so that's going to put more pressure on the tires than it would, say, on like a high-speed circuit like what we had in Mount Panorama, because that downforce wears the tires out more. But I still think that these drivers are talented enough to manage their tires to make them go the distance.
Every time.
So I definitely think I will still agree that the 2-stop will be the likely outcome of this. But we may see a few brave individuals start on a hard tire and then go for a 1-stop with a hard to medium. I believe we are counting down the minutes here. I think we only have about 2 minutes and about 15 seconds left of this qualifying session. Oh, and Alex goes for a spin. That is unfortunate. The German driver currently sitting at P3 takes a massive spin there. He's got cars coming up behind him, and he's going to just retreat to the pits. That's the safe thing to do so you don't get an impeding penalty onto any of these other drivers.
Alex is sneaky good at qualifying, and Illusion as well. I'm keeping an eye on Illusion because even though he hasn't quite had his best session so far, he has been setting purple sectors. Just about every time I peek over, I see a new purple sector pop up on his screen. So he does have pace in hand that if he puts this lap all together, he could be on pace for provisional pole position here, or at least a front row.
Has just set a new time. He's actually really close to Whiteout's time. Only half a second between them. Going back to Lucian. And like you said, Lucian is setting purple sectors. And last time he got to like right here and then just lost it on the grass. We are not getting a repeat of that. We'll see where the Norwegian driver ends up. He crossed the line. Oh, he's 5 seconds off. Ooh, he must have done a mistake somewhere that we did not see.
Boarded that particular lap. I wonder if there's any more time for these guys.
They got about a minute left.
That's probably the final
and depending on the timer,
here. I could check it.
Oh, actually, yeah, Lucian's back to setting a purple sector. He's definitely got that first sector down
40 seconds.
But I think he'll have enough time to finish the lap he is currently on by the time the timer runs out. But then he's not getting another shot. Because it's about a minute and a half. A little bit over about like 135 to 136 is like the average lap pace or average lap for these cars. Whiteout's done. He's not setting any more laps. It's a purple second sector by English, but only by about 100th of a second. So, there's a spin in front of him though. Boita spins out in front of him. That's his qualifying done.
So no improvement from Boita, going to be on the third row at best here. But it looks like
the other two cars behind him. Yeah, so it's going to be a third row start for the German driver. Yuki sets an improvement on his final lap. And Lucian's going to come across the line. He's got one last shot. This is his last lap. He's got to make it count. It's not quite pole position, but it's a second row start. Lucian moves up into P3. 2 tenths behind Nuko, and about 7 tenths behind Whiteout.
Yeah, for the amount of purples I've seen, it must be that third sector that's catching him out every time, because, yeah, he was on pace for that provisional pole position there, but just 7 tenths off. So, yeah, it looks like all of that time it was lost by Illusion, was found by Whiteout in the third sector.
Yeah, Alex is the last driver out on track, but he's got a half-second penalty, and he's not setting any time, so his qualifying's done. He will not improve, but he'll get a second row start first troubles. So that is now every single driver either in the pits or just on a cool-down lap. And Whiteout takes pole position, followed by Nuko, Lucian, Alex, Yuki, Boita, Killswitch, and Artura. I mean, there was not a whole lot of doubt about Whiteout potentially getting that pole position. I mean, it was almost a guarantee. Whiteout is a force to be reckoned with in one lap pace and on race pace as well, so.
Yeah, an absolute
Whiteout is a
beast.
very strong driver.
Yeah, over one lap or over many laps, he is the class of the field.
Get this man an Olympic seat for the Gran Turismo Olympics.
That's right. We'll have him representing the USA, going for gold. But here is
I had a friend of mine who tried to
order.
get into the Olympics for Gran Turismo.
I think it's super cool that they do that, and I encourage whenever it comes around, everyone try to at least set a lap time for your country, because that's just really cool that's a thing on this game. Just to even
get the experience, and you can have bragging rights by saying, "Yeah, I tried to qualify for the Olympics."
Yeah, and you can then say, "I didn't get it, but I tried."
It might look good on a resume for any future teams you might want to go to. And actually, speaking of that, the driver who I know that actually tried for the Olympics, actually really close to getting in. And he's actually joining Formula GT for the remainder of the season, from what I've heard.
Oh, excellent.
Heard from some sources. Yeah, it's another American driver by the name of Benevis Roman.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've seen the name pop in there.
Yeah, we'll have to try to get him into Grand Prestige League as well for a future series as well.
King in the comments mentioning the world record for S7. I agree. S7 license test is one of the main benchmarks for Formula drivers, as well as far as lap time challenges. I feel like I gave the Olympics one a try. I forget. I clearly didn't get in, but I thought I'd give a lap in there, and it was nice. It was fun to do.
Yeah, because I remember one time they did the I think last time they had it they did the Toyota Le Mans hypercar, and I think previously they had it with the
No race is starting here.
I think the X 2019 Red Bull. But we can come back to that topic later. It is race time here, and we're about to get started. As those 5 red lights are lighting up and they're ready to go out, it is lights out and away we go. Whiteout getting the start that he needed, but Illusion also getting a very solid start. He moves up into P2 at the start.
Boxing
Nuko
and
might be
Nuko
losing
here.
position to his fellow Lexus. Oh, it's close between the Frenchman and the Norwegian. Oh, but Alex goes out, and so does, I believe that's Artura.
Yeah,
Both of those drivers go out.
no big surprise there. It's lap 1, turn 1, so that usually means that Alex will be spinning. At this point, he's got a track record for that.
Yeah, it's pretty well known. I can't remember a race where he wasn't part of a lap 1 collision, and Nicholas Boyce actually has moved up 2 positions, but he had a bit of a moment there on that turn, and now Yuki's right up on him, trying to regain that position.
Yeah, so a really good start from Illusion too. It kind of slightly pushed Nuko wide there on the exit of the first turn there, but ultimately they were wheel to wheel. I'm not sure if it was, within the margins of acceptable, but it was good racing either way, and definitely benefited from it as he is now in P2 pretty comfortably here at the moment as these gaps kind of just start to level out. Looking good across the field. Pretty much everyone on the medium tire as well, with the exception of JD Killswitch on the soft tire. Yeah, Flaring Ace is agreeing here. He knows what's going on. Good to see Flaring Aces and King No Skill in the chat, by the way. Shout out to you guys. And by the way, whoever's here watching the race, feel free to make your presence known here. Let us know who you're rooting for, who you're watching for, what you guys predict is going to happen in the race. Now is a great time to let us know.
Because anything can happen here in racing, and we always love seeing just various drivers and teams getting a ton of support, and that, as a driver, it makes their entire day, seeing that their team or their friends, their parents, loved ones, etc., cheering them on. It makes you feel so good whenever
Indeed. It warms
you have
the
that
heart.
support. Indeed. One thing that's currently warmer than these drivers' hearts is their tires, as they're trying to get them heated up and within that operating window to get the most out of the mediums. The mediums are definitely that 50-50 tire where it's like how we talked about the mid-speed balance of performance being in between both the high grip and the high speed. The mediums are the in-between of the hards and the soft tires, that perfect balance of tire life and grip.
Yeah, that's right. As we can see on JD Killswitch, the lone soft tire runner here, that his tires are already showing signs of degradation only on lap 2 as they go under that SpongeBob look-alike sign. I don't know what that is. It looks like SpongeBob, but I know it's not.
Yeah, I know it's not, but I mean, I never really drew the connection until you actually just mentioned it.
Yeah.
You know what also kind of looks like from a glance too? Are you familiar with the Rexy Porsche in IMSA races for the GTD category?
Yeah.
It's like that, but then you mix with SpongeBob and then you get that banner over that bridge.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't believe it is SpongeBob. It does seem a little green depending on the lighting, so I'm not quite sure, but it looks close enough. It's now the SpongeBob sign. That is canon now.
Yep, and that's how we're going to always refer to it for every future race that we have here at Autopolis.
That's right. I'm really impressed so far with Yuki as well. Just, you're showing that he belongs where he's at, position-wise. And he's actually looking like he's closing the gap on Nuko a little bit here. He's within a second of Nuko.
Yeah, he did retake. he retook the position from Boita there, and now he's gonna. Yeah, I mean that gap is kind of staying consistent. I think on some areas that the Lexus does pull away in some parts of this track, so I think the Lexus is a bit better when it comes to like straight line speed, but cornering is more on the Hondas. Is more the Honda specialty.
Yeah, definitely. Especially that mid-engine setup definitely just allows the weight distribution of the car. When you're at full lateral load into the corner, it just allows the back of the car to step out a little bit, rotate the car. It's very helpful for rotation, but it also can be a little bit trickier if you can't handle that with the rear wanting to step out like that. So it does require kind of driver preference there a little bit, but I do believe overall, if you can handle that driving style, that it is the faster style, especially on tracks like this where you got these really technical, compound, consecutive corners.
Definitely. So it's interesting to note that I believe these engines are actually not like their native engines, because in this case we would have a V6 in the back of the Honda and a V8 in the Lexus, but I think for the Super GT regulations from which these cars are natively from, I believe they actually run 4 cylinders. I will look that up to confirm, but I believe they actually do run 4 bangers in these cars.
Which is so insane.
I mean, it's also funny to note that I think, I can't say for the Nissan because Nissan isn't involved with the series, but I believe the engines that are in the Honda and the Lexus are similar to the engines that they run in Super Formula, because Super Formula also runs the inline 4, which is crazy that they can get 600 horsepower out of an inline 4.
Yeah, absolutely. The car I drive right now is a 4-cylinder engine, and it gives me hope that it might be capable of racing like this.
I am also in the 4-cylinder club.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we could find our cars here on track one day. They have figures to aspire to now.
Yeah, seeing a Veloster, a Hyundai Veloster as a Super GT car would be pretty wild. I mean, they used to race them in a touring car, racing
cool
in like
car.
the UK.
I like.
I mean, I enjoy it. Unfortunately, I got the non-turbocharged version, but I heard the turbos got reliability problems anyway with the Hyundai. So
yeah, and I drive a 2003 Saab 9.3. In case anyone was wondering.
Saab is such an underrated car brand. One of my close friends from back in my original hometown before I moved out here for college, his dad drove a Saab, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
I love it. I love it. Looking for a new one now. Because I need to sell it low-key.
You know that company also makes fighter jets.
Oh, yeah. Just a weird company, a very weird company, especially how they kind of went out and everything as well. Just every step of the story has been weird with Saab, and that's partly why I like them.
Yeah, it's an unusual brand that I wish got more representation, but I mean, they don't even make cars anymore, so it's kind of hard to get that representation.
I wish it was in Gran Turismo, but I don't think it'll ever happen.
It would be funny to see a Saab VGT car, and it's basically just their Saab Gripen fighter jet.
Oh, yeah.
With wheels.
Definitely would be. You know, I noticed something here, too, as these drivers go around. I don't drive on this particular track a whole lot, so I'm actually, noticing a lot for the first time here as I watch from this perspective, that a lot of these drivers are going wide. I'm not exactly sure the number that the turn is, but on the exit, they're going wide and dipping their tires into the grass, like, a lot, especially the top drivers. So it must be the optimal line, but goodness gracious, they are risking it by fully exiting full throttle with their tires on the grass, so they must really know what they're doing to be doing that lap after lap on purpose like that, especially like Whiteout and Illusion here. I see Yuki doing it a lot too, dipping their tires off into the dirt and the grass. You know, just, that's kind of risky, but it must be the way to do things around here.
Yeah, it is possible, but I mean, they're just glad that they won't. They're not in the rain, because if it was in the rain, then yeah, you would touch that.
Abandon all that.
Yeah, no, you would touch the grass. You would touch grass and lose it.
That's right. Even the curbs I would avoid if that was the case here.
I was doing some just personal private testing just for the fun of it, and I was using the Super Formula car and the top on this track in the rain, and I touched the grass a little bit, and that was it. My car ended up in the wall.
Yeah, not the most forgiving track in the world. It is very technical. These corners are not easy. Oh, as Artura gets a little squirrely there, I was just checking in on Artura, as he is a 7-second gap to JD Killswitch, who himself has a 30-second gap to Alex, who made it past him in his recovery drive. Now up into P6 is the German driver.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been the story of Alex for this entire season. You get into a turn one collision or incident, you make a storming recovery drive, and then you refuse to elaborate and dip.
Yeah, yeah.
That is basically how Alex operates.
Indeed, and at least the recovery drives have been impressive, though, so far throughout the season. But just about every race he's been on a recovery drive, unfortunately enough for him. I wonder what he would be capable of result-wise if he were to just stay in his natural starting position through the beginning couple of laps.
I think he'd actually be pretty high up there when it comes to the in the driver's standings, honestly.
Yeah, I believe so as well, because he has proved, especially in qualifying, race after race, if we've seen that he can hang with the fastest of them. He's always up there, like, you know, kind of flirting with P2, P3 type of area. He's a really good qualifier. I think it's just a matter of a little bit of consistency, and but yeah, no, he has a lot of potential.
Yeah, and actually, it's something interesting to note. Right now, if he were to finish, or if he finished in this starting position, he would jump Boita in the driver's standings. He's only 3 points behind him at the moment.
Really, and that's actually quite the testament, considering that Boita has a race win under his belt this season already.
Yeah, because actually right now, with the exception of Whiteout, second, third, and fourth in the driver's standings are only separated by 7 points. And I mean, the driver's scores are actually really close, and even Lucian, who's currently now in second place, would jump up the standings quite a bit, because he's only 2 points behind Alex.
And that's as well a testament to Illusion, because I believe he missed a race in the season too, so still being that high up is very impressive.
Yeah, and another just fun fact that I honestly really enjoy is the fact that there is one brand in each of the top 3 spots in the Drivers' Championship. Whiteout is in first place in the Honda, Nuko is second place in the Lexus, and then Boitz is third place in the Nissan.
That is cool to see. I like that. It's good that it's not just like the first however many Hondas, it's all Honda, and then the rest after that. So it's good to see him mixed up like that. And still checking in Yuki here, super impressed. He's still maintained his gap to Nuko of all people, and now he's actually closing the gap. Yeah, it's down to a half a second now. And over the course of 9 laps to stay within a second is very impressive for both drivers, honestly. For Nuko not to crack under pressure one bit, knowing that he's right there looming large in the mirrors. And Yuki keeping the pressure on without, let's see if he's burning up his... And the tire wear is actually kind of similar, a bit more on Nuko, perhaps driving a bit hard there. But Illusions is actually worse than both of them.
Nuko right now has more tire grip on the back left side, or on the rear left, but Yuki has more wear on the, Nuko has more wear on the front right, Yuki has more wear on the back left.
Very interesting. That's probably indicative of different driving styles there for how
even
they
the weight distribution of the
inputs.
2 cars.
Oh, that's true as well, yeah. FR car being driven there by Nuko. definitely different weight distribution could change the wear pattern on the tires a bit there. And behind them, though, kind of just biding his time, is Boita, and no surprise that his tire wear is significantly better than the cars around him.
Yeah, Boita definitely takes a more reserved approach when it comes to his driving. Like, he'll take it easy for the first stint or so, but then towards the end is when he just kicks on and just full sends it. Because he knows he's going to have that extra tire life on the cars in front of him. So don't be surprised if Boita just rockets up the order and gets close to fighting for a podium.
Yeah, Boita very strategic and very smart the way he drives, definitely keeping the entire race distance in mind when he's driving. As, yeah, like you said, he's just staying out of trouble right now, not burning up his tires, not getting having to take compromised lines in a battle. Just kind of chilling behind these two guys as they burn up their tires. Because now we have a battle on our hands.
It's really close.
He is pushing Nuko all the way through these corners here. Taking a look around the outside.
Nuko is probably one of the calmest Frenchmen I have ever watched race in my entire life. Not cracking one bit under pressure, even though there's a very hard charging and hungry Yuki there. Trying to go up to Nuko, trying to prevent the Honda top 3 lockout. But Nuko is definitely, he's staying calm, he's not getting too flustered. Because racing is half about just, you know, skill, talent, luck. But he's got a lot of patience and mind games. The psychology is the other half of racing.
Yeah, it requires a very strong mentality, especially when you're in this situation from either driver's perspective here. There's just so much pressure to deal with, and it looks like Nuko did so beautifully as he's opening that gap back up to just about as big as it was a few laps ago. And we have Illusion in the pits to get rid of those mediums. The front left on that set is completely dead, and we'll see what he takes as he exits. A hard tire. So that's only the second time all season that we've seen a driver use a hard tire. The first was, I believe, Flaring Aces in like round 2 or 3, and it didn't work out for him. The performance was kind of similar. The wear was similar to the medium, but the pace was worse, and so it didn't work out in that particular instance. But I believe that the wear should be better on this circuit for the hards. It should be able to go about 20. And so given the lap that he pitted on, I believe that Illusion was probably going to want to carry these to the end of the race here.
I think actually Alex in round 1 did a hard tire because he did a no-stop. Yuki was thinking about making a move onto Nuko there, but it just doesn't quite get it done. He lined it up so well, too. Just could not quite get it done.
Yeah, and Illusion must have been pushing hard as his tires were pretty noticeably worse than the cars behind him, even though they're battling each other. So he must have really been pushing or just not managing the tires at all. Only other pit stops so far would be that of JD Killswitch. He had to switch off of the soft tire, and he's now running a set of mediums. And our race leader, Whiteout, is into the pits as well, getting rid of his completely dead mediums. Those fronts really take a beating around this track.
Yeah, I wonder if he's also going to go ahead and make a switch to the hard tires.
Yeah, so this is very interesting here. This is going to determine a lot of how the race goes. Yeah, it looks like Whiteout. And once again, another race where Boita inherits the lead of the race from pit stops. And his tire wear, as you can see, only like 50% on the worst tire, just below 50%. So his tire management, once again, paying huge dividends here on lap 12.
There's a reason we call this man the Brazilian tire whisperer. I mean, that tire wear, compared to some of the other cars, is just immaculate. That is exactly what you want in a racing driver.
Yeah, and Alex with a really good recovery drive as he's now inherited P2 as well. He will have to give some of those positions back as he goes into the pits, but we can just see the tire difference between Alex and Boita here. That's not nothing. That's pretty big.
Yeah, that's a very big gap. And I mean, The Nissan does have a bit of understeer compared to the Lexus, but they're both FR machines, unlike the Honda. So I mean, that weight distribution is very similar. Because I did look it up and I researched it. They all these cars are running turbocharged 4-cylinders. So I mean, they have similar engine. I think they have the same engine displacement too. So it's it's definitely down to more driver skill versus weight distribution or any other factor. It's just Boita being really, really caring and nurturing of his tires.
Yeah, and as I was telling Yuki when we were going over the strategy options that try to manage the tires, because when Boita does his thing, he actually has completely new strategy options that are only available to him based on the rate of wear that he has compared to everyone else. And in fact, it got him a win.
Yep. So, Artura and Killswitch have not pitted yet, but Boita and Alex have also not pitted yet. So, half the field has pitted, the other half has not. And actually, we see Illusion and Whiteout both going to hard tires, but Nuko and Yuki have taken another set of medium compound tires. Now, unlike Formula 1, Formula GT, the Super Formula Racing Series with GPL, there's no specific tire requirements. So you can pretty much just run whatever tire you so desire, although I wouldn't recommend running comforts. Weirdos. But you can pretty much run any tire for any duration. There's nothing mandatory about the tires. Only thing mandatory is you show up and you drive.
That's right, and I really do like that a lot, because it does open up so many more strategy options when you're required to take both sets, like one stop at least, soft tire, medium tire. When those kinds of requirements are in place, it really limits the strategic variation that you'll see throughout the field. And it puts basically everyone on the same exact strategy, maybe 1 or 2 lap difference in the pit window, but it's the same strategy throughout the whole field. So I much prefer this, where you got completely different compounds. We've already seen soft, medium, and hard being used this race, which generally you don't see in league races like this. And it really shakes up the possibilities here. And it looks like Nuko is setting a purple sector on those medium tires. He's definitely going to have the tire advantage and pace advantage here on Illusion for the time being, as Illusion is on the hard tire. We see Nuko and Yuki closing in on him here. So we'll see if that strategy will end up working out for them. Although, even if they do get past, they will have to open up quite a large gap on Illusion, as I believe that these medium runners are going to have to take another pit stop at some point in the race.
But also, from what we've seen earlier, when both of these drivers were on the medium tire compound, it is worthy to note that Illusion was harder on his tires than the 2 cars behind him. So over the race distance, it might actually open up quite a bit. And it might start favoring these medium drivers, because Illusion, as fantastic of a driver as he is, the Norwegian is very hard on his tires, as we saw earlier, as he was the first one to pit in this race.
Yeah, a bit uncharacteristically so as far as the severity of it. They were much worse than pretty much everyone else's. And yeah, that's kind of odd to me, as we see Alex going into the pits too now. So he will, we'll see where he ends up coming out, as a couple of drivers already getting past him.
Alex peels off into the pit lane. He's going to shed those old medium tires. Let's see.
Yeah, I believe
he's back on another set. Oh, he's on hards now. He went to hard, so he's probably going to try to go the rest of this race distance on the hard tire compound. Nuko, sorry, is going to try to make a move on Illusion. He's got the inside line. A little bit of contact there between the two. The Frenchman taking on the Norwegian there. Oh, he's got the inside line. I think Nuko's got the move done and dusted. Yuki is, I think, going to take a move next. But I think he'll have to wait till the start-finish straightaway. Illusion is not giving it up without a fight, though.
Oh, he's fighting it back. Wide setup so that he could have a better exit there, but Nuko's car just in the way. Yeah, that was really well set up car placement there from Nuko, as he started around the outside, but the outside became the inside just afterwards, where he had the advantage. Yeah, Illusion definitely not giving this up. He is still right there in the slipstream as we make it around to the final sector here. The final sector did seem to be where Illusion kind of struggled a bit, at least in qualifying, for pace. Although I will say, just based on the tires that they're using right now, even if these cars get past Illusion, I would give Illusion the overall advantage as far as the race distance goes.
That is true, but also you got a hard charging Yuki right behind him. But yeah, I mean, they're charging really hard, and Boita's off into the pits now. He made those tires go a very long stretch, and now he's into the pit lane. Let's see what tire the Brazilian decides to fit to his car.
Yeah, 16 laps on medium. If he can do a one stop with 2 sets of mediums, that would be extremely impressive. I think he's the only driver capable of that, and it is another set of mediums. And so yeah, he went 16 on that. He'd have to go 17 or 18 on this stint here. And with a lighter fuel load, it is more possible. You can usually get about another lap or 2 out of the lighter car.
Indeed, but also if our speculation is going to come to fruition, we are going to see Nuko and Illusion potentially pit in again. So that would mean that Boita would actually inherit a podium position along with along with Illusion. Actually, I think I said the wrong thing earlier. Nuko and Yuki are likely going to have to pit again. Illusion could probably take this to the end, so Illusion and Boita will go ahead and inherit a podium position if that happens. But Yuki is going to try to push on and try to get past Illusion. Nuko is building that gap to Illusion.
Yeah, Yuki needs to get past him quickly here, as he is, Nuko's getting away from him as Yuki's getting held up by Illusion at the moment. He needs to make a quick, decisive move if he wants to catch back up to Nuko.
You're definitely right about that, and I think his best shot is going to have to be a dive down the inside when it comes to this straightaway. Oh, Boita has actually left the room!
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, Boita disconnected! That's
terrible.
Unfortunate.
Illusion's super late on the brakes there.
Yeah,
that was really good.
Illusion.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was just about to shout out his brother too, William Boita, in the chat as well. Always being a great support for his brother and teammate. But yeah, we got Yuki pushing and pushing, putting Illusion under massive amounts of pressure. But once again, Illusion not seeming to be phased one bit, just braking super deep into all of these corners. Yeah, William says that the Wi-Fi went out. As we have a Boita correspondent here in the chat with us.
That is very unfortunate. I was actually really looking forward to that recovery drive. Or not really recovery drive, just another Boita masterclass when it comes to tire management. Now the two drivers in the back of the field, Killswitch and Arturo, make their stops. They actually held on to their tires really well.
Yeah, Flaring Aces in the chat reckons that Boita was on pace for P2 given his, how the race was running so far. I'd have to agree with that.
I would agree too, honestly. At minimum, he'd be in like 3rd or 4th, maybe. That's a minimum, but definitely 2nd place as the Baltimore Ravens car of Killswitch exits the pit lane. You know, it's actually pretty funny seeing a NFL-inspired delivery because you don't really see those hardly anywhere.
Yeah, I do like that a lot. I've made a couple of Seahawks liveries, but I don't run them too often. But yeah, so I always love seeing that. I actually did make a Ravens one for him as well at one point, so it is cool to see.
I made a Jaguars livery on the GT3 Toyota.
That's funny. They're playing the Jaguars today, like right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're playing the Lions actually.
Oh, they are. Okay, that's it. That's what it was. Yeah, the Ravens are playing the Steelers. That's right.
I'm not going to look at the score because I'm enjoying my time here in GPL, so I don't want to get depressed.
Don't ruin your day. Don't ruin your day.
Yeah, but regardless, we're actually about to see some back marker blue flag action.
Yeah, we got Boita in the chat too.
Gets out of the way.
Nick Boita, the driver, in the chat. saying letting us know his Wi-Fi went out and stuff. But yeah, we were rooting for you, Boita. That was looking really good management-wise. You were excellent with the tires, and yeah, it's unfortunate as we had you either P2 or P3. I would guess maybe P3 behind Illusion. Illusion is doing a really good job managing his
Yuki
hard
has
stint
backed off
here.
significantly. Oh, and the kill switch is off track. Just
Yeah,
letting these
JD
cars
diving
go
off
through.
into the grass. Very good move for blue flag there.
I mean, so this track, it's a lot easier to overtake on this track when it comes to blue flags because the track is pretty wide compared to Mount Panorama. That track is pretty skinny. But yeah, it's a lot easier to overtake under a blue flag condition here. Now,
Yeah, that's right. Panorama was very bad for that.
In the unfortunate and very chaotic idea, for the lack of a better word, to not get us banned on YouTube, that we race on Monaco if they added to this game. Good luck.
Oh yeah, I would love to see it, and it's not necessarily impossible to see either. There was a Gran Turismo quote-unquote original circuit that was basically a one-to-one replica of Monaco in earlier games, so there is a chance they could bring it back at some point in the future, and I would love to see that, especially for the Super Formula Series.
Oh,
have
yeah,
a race at
definitely.
Monaco.
I know actually Project Cars 3 also had a quote Monaco track. It was called just Azure Coast, but it was literally just Monaco. I did a endurance race on there once, and I regretted every second of it.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't necessarily want to do an endurance race there, but yeah, I can't wait. Hopefully they add that to the game at some point.
It's 24 hours in Monaco. Can't imagine. That would suck.
Yeah, and so here we got Yuki, who has failed to get past Illusion, and now Illusion is seeming to open this gap up. I wonder if we're starting to see the drop-off phase of the medium start to set in, or if he is just kind of falling back and biding his time here. But it looks like now the wear difference is starting to get really significant between the mediums and the hards of Illusion here.
Yeah, definitely. But also, I mean, he's got a very comfortable gap to Alex behind. Alex himself is 11 seconds behind Yuki. I think Yuki was actually... I could have been seeing things, but I think Yuki was actually on track of setting a purple sector. I think Yuki was actually purple there for a quick second. Maybe I was looking at somebody else. But Whiteout he's just got the most... He's just unbothered in his lane, flourishing with a 6-second gap to P2 in Nuko. Nuko's also got a pretty comfortable gap to Illusion, with it being a just about 2-second gap.
Yeah, and so it does appear that the pace advantage is starting to shift back into the hard runner's hands now at this point, as I mean, he is still within a second of Illusion, but I'm also monitoring the gap behind to Alex, who is also on a set of very new hard tires, and the gap is actually pretty stable, but it's slightly coming down. But we'll keep an eye on those gaps there as the laps continue on here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're still pretty much at like the like maybe 60% point of the race. You still got like 12 laps to go. I mean, you still got a long way to go, but oh, Nuko, oh, those tires.
Yeah, very risky.
Those tires are slowly getting more cooked as the race goes on. They're about to get to a point. They're at that threshold where they're not just cooked, they're straight up flame broiled. And if he's not careful, he's going to lose a lot of time and pace to the hard charging Norwegian behind him.
Indeed. Yeah, and so really, even though there is a car in between them, being Illusion, the real fight here is between Nuko and Yuki for that final podium position, I would say. As just based on the rate of these tires, they should take another stop. And the way it's looking right now, I think whoever stops sooner would have the advantage. I believe there's a big undercut on the table right now that one of these guys could take advantage of.
Yeah, but I definitely just don't see it being for the win because Whiteout's tires are looking really good, and he's got a 7-second gap. So I do not see a undercut leading to a race win, but it would be definitely crucial for a podium.
That's for sure. Another factor, though, is if they do actually have to take that additional pit stop, whether they get an undercut in or not, they would then have to get past Alex on track.
And we know how good defensively Alex is. Very aggressive driver, as we've seen earlier today. Actually, Illusion.
Now that's not expected to see. He went from a hard tire, only did like a handful of laps on the hard tire. So that's, even if he goes to the soft here, which I'm assuming he's going to go to the soft for the final 10 laps.
He's on mediums. He went to mediums. I thought he went to hards for a second. I was going to say, from one set of hards to another. Yeah, I'm curious. I'd like to know the strategy decision behind that, because that is intriguing.
Yeah, I think it might have been a mistake there strategic-wise, because if you were only going to do that many laps, you might as well have gone for a medium or maybe even a soft tire, because he really only did a handful of laps there on that hard. Must not have liked what he was feeling out there. The pace just wasn't there. The confidence wasn't there. I know a driver like him driving on the very limit at all times is going to want a good feel in the car.
Definitely. But, I mean, at this point, if I were either Nuko or Yuki, I would just not even bother going for another pit stop. Alex is still 5 seconds off. Actually, no, I'm sorry.
I don't know if Yuki can make it 10 laps from here.
He's 9 seconds off of Yuki. And, I mean, if he just nursed his tires, he probably could take this home to a podium spot in P3. It is very possible, but it would be very hard as well.
Yeah, so I think there they go into the pits right now. Yep. So I was just thinking, too, like, if they're going to take another pit stop at some point, it's better to do it sooner than later at this point, because they're just losing pace to the car behind and bleeding out their gap there. As Illusion, maybe taking the hard tire was a mistake, but at least him correcting it, he did so smart, as he did Alex get the undercut.
I'm sorry, Nuko just almost pops into Nuko!
Nuko spins.
Nuko's into the wall! Oh, that might be an unsafe rejoin! I'm glad
it's a good thing it
ghosted.
down,
because that would have been nasty!
We would have had another whiteout V Inspector Seb moment there.
Oh, God. Oh, I'm so glad that Nuko ghosted there. That's not at all what he wanted to see there.
Yeah, so Illusion, in correcting his hard tire mistake there, potential mistake, did a really good thing in getting the undercut. Because like I said, there was a big undercut just sitting there on the table waiting for someone to take it. And Illusion, the last person I expected, to take it, but he did. And got a huge advantage out of that. But now we got Alex having inherited P2 with a really fresh hard tire. And so it's actually looking really good for a P2 finish here from Alex. But now we got Illusion with the tire advantage, brand new mediums, and only a 4.5 second gap with about 9 laps left to go. We'll see. Oh, and now Whiteout into the pits as well. And he only had about 50% wear on those. He definitely could have taken those to the end of the race. But
he's got such a gap, too. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
You might as well get the free pit stop and get on a set of mediums.
He has opened up a big enough gap that, exactly, he just wants the better tire, more confidence. He comes out of the pit still with a multiple second gap. It's settling itself out here. We'll see where it ends up at.
About 3 seconds.
Yeah, it looks like about 3 seconds there. And that's a comfortable gap for Whiteout, especially. He can, he's not worried about 3 seconds.
He's on the grippier tire and the fresher tire compared to Alex behind him, so I think he can, as long as he doesn't put it on the grass and put it into a wall, I think he's got a very good chance of just closing this race out. He's got 9 laps to go on this set of tires, so I think this medium will be the tire that he carries all the way to the end of the race.
Yeah, so once again, the medium tire being the choice race tire over the course of the whole race. Definitely the best tire, both as far as grip and wear rate. But speaking of tire advantage, it looks like Illusion behind Alex here, definitely showing that those brand new mediums have the advantage as he is bringing that gap down very quickly. Now under 3 seconds for him.
Yeah, so very good stuff there from these drivers. These drivers are so talented. And if you guys are watching and you haven't already subscribed, I would highly recommend that you do. You do not want to miss any of the action from these incredible drivers that we have here today. Several different teams, several different countries, all extremely talented drivers. This is why I love racing.
It brings the whole world together.
Honestly, we need to put motorsport in the actual Olympics. I know the FIA have their own version with the motorsport games, but I mean, I guess we tend to go have Gran Turismo Olympics. We are seeing some blue flag traffic here for Nuko. Going to get past the Baltimore Raven JD kill switch. I wonder if any teams for the upcoming Super Formula series will have a NFL inspired livery, because I think that could be pretty cool. Having a Baltimore Ravens team. It was actually a running joke between me and some of my friends a few days ago that Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs should just buy out Alpine for Formula One.
Yeah, and then they could race them too.
Patrick Mahomes' World Drivers Championship incoming.
Oh yeah, they find a way to rig it for him.
Yeah. It's not even going to be British bias anymore. It's just going to be Mahomes bias.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's a good career mode for someone to do in the F1 24 video game. Just run that. I'm sure somebody can make a mod for it. I mean, it's probably someone hasn't already.
Yeah, I would be surprised if someone hadn't done that. And now we're on board with Illusion, too, as he is still steadily closing the gap to Alex now. It's around 1 second, just over 1 second here. So we're just going to go on board with him and see how he closes this gap.
Grippier tires, better tire life. I mean, it's perfect here for Illusion. Just to get into that window and just get the overtake done. But we know Illusion tends to lose time in that third sector. We saw it during qualifying, and we're seeing it here in this race as well. That third sector just does not play nice with Illusion.
Oh, it's such a difficult track, as you can see, especially the area they just left is so tight and left and right. It's insane.
It is a deceptively tricky track.
Yeah, super. And now gap's under a second now. 7/10 to the German.
Yep, we're about to see. I mean, he's closing that gap up. Like we mentioned earlier, Illusion has got the fresher and grippier tires, and he's got the quicker compound as well. So, I mean, it's definitely in Illusion's favor right now. But we do know that the Lexus does have the benefit of better straight line speed. But we also know that the Honda is significantly better in the corners due to its better weight distribution for that kind of cornering.
Yeah. Trying to break the toe is Alex. Hopefully it doesn't turn into weaving here as...
Nope, it's not going to be turned into weaving, but Alex does have that inside line. Is the switchback going to happen? Not quite. Alex holds on and keeping it clean in the process. I know something we don't commonly say, oh, there's a little bit of weaving there from Alex. But
yeah, as he is a bit laggy too. So it'll look a bit more exaggerated too, as this car is kind of jittering back and forth on track there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think Alex is going to try to keep it clean for the most part. He wants to hold on to P2, because that would jump him up in the standings, especially with Boita being disconnected from the lobby. That would shoot him really far up the standings.
And so we're running out of laps here to do it on track. I think Illusion has enough laps to get it done, but he's going to want to do so decisively because, as we know, Alex is a very aggressive driver, and with that added lag, too, that he has going on, it increases the hitbox of his car to larger than the car's actual size. And so there is a decent likelihood of some lag-based contact if they don't get this move done super decisively here.
Yeah, that is definitely going to play a factor, especially as we're down to the last 5 laps or so in this race.
Yeah, you won't want to run corner to corner, wheel to wheel throughout here with Alex as within its current state.
Yeah, that is definitely something you want to pay attention to. But also, I mean, Lucian just closes the gap, but Alex just has that better straight line speed because of the Lexus.
Yeah, and Illusion choosing not to take a dive bomb or just, kind of keep the pressure on this lap and keep the gap as small as possible so that he could set up for an overtake on a more optimal corner on the track here. Super wide setup so he has that optimal exit speed there.
But here's something to note too. Illusion is chewing through the tires like chewing through a pack of bubble gum. Those tires are getting just more and more worn out as he keeps trying to make moves. On to Alex, he's got a shot now, but Alex just closes the door on him. The lag making it look more exaggerated, like my co-host here said. But man, Alex is just putting up such defensive work that is making Illusion burn through that tire life more than he would have wanted to otherwise.
Yeah, the rate of wear between this medium and Alex's hard tire is about identical at the moment. Being that, only difference really is that Alex's rear tires are slightly more worn, but that's not really a very big factor on this track. It's mostly those fronts that we have to worry about here. And those are about even at the moment now. The rate of wear is actually starting to increase for Illusion, so he's going to want to get this done as quickly as possible, as his car is going to start losing pace pretty dramatically here within the next few laps, as there's only a few left.
Yeah, but another thing too is one slip-up can open the door wide open for a certain Red Bull-powered Yuki, who might be looking for a podium here today.
That's right, yeah. Alex definitely holding up Illusion to the point that we can see Yuki start to close in now, as he is now on screen in the background of a lot of these shots.
Just playing the waiting game here, waiting for either Illusion or Alex to screw up, and Yuki is just fighting a prime position to slot himself into a podium spot here. He doesn't have to worry about Nuko. Nuko is still about 4.5 seconds back. So Nuko, who was very strong in the early stages, after that spin, his race has just come undone, which is unfortunate for the Frenchman.
Yeah, it's really too bad. We could have seen a double battle going on here, as it looked like they were on pace, Yuki and Nuko, to have an insane battle. But yeah, it looks to me like the tire advantage
Yuki's
is starting to shift
close
towards the hard tire now, as it's getting just a little bit more and more difficult for Illusion to stay in a position to keep having these looks to the inside. But we are, I believe, on the start-finish straight here. So this is probably his best opportunity.
Was going to make a move. I wonder if Yuki can actually get a double overtake here, possibly, but not likely. Alex holds him up, puts Illusion onto the grass a little bit, not a whole lot, but it's enough to have Illusion fall back ever so slightly into the clutches of Yuki.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you got to wonder too, is his focus going to start shifting to defense, or is he going to want to keep pushing for P2 there? On an over push for P2, put yourself out of position trying to set up an overtake and then get overtaken yourself.
Yeah, that is definitely something you want to try to avoid at all cost.
Yeah, being behind Alex has definitely burned up Illusion's front tires here, as we could see. Yuki's have much better tire wear on the same compound. I'd say Yuki has the best tires out of all three right now, as far as the pace advantage goes.
Yeah, definitely. Alex has got the tire life advantage. Right now, Illusion has just burned through the front tires on that medium, or the front medium tires on that car just too much to actually make an effective lunge. So, Yuki's got better tire life right now by a long shot, actually.
Yeah, and so Illusion had a really effective undercut there earlier on in the race, but the thing that kills the advantage of the undercut like nothing else is being held up afterwards, like how he is for the past few laps here.
Nuko's just going to fire off into the pits. I mean, he's so far ahead of Arturo that it's not even giving a time between the two cars, so I think this is just going to be a free pit stop. It might just be
fastest lap attempt, I think, a glorified quali run, and he is out on the soft tire for the last couple of laps, so he is going to go for that fastest lap attempt to try to take a point off a whiteout, which is very smart. We want to take if you're anyone but whiteout, everyone wants whiteout to have just take any single point you can away from whiteout helps.
Yeah, so the good thing there on Nuko's part. I mean, he wasn't going to be in a spot to challenge for Yuki or Illusion's positions.
Oh, Yuki's diving up the inside. But Yuki's actually going to
go up the inside. He's got the lunge, and he's got the position, but Illusion's got the inside for the next corner. But I think Yuki's just going to have that pace. They're side by side going into the next corner. It's Illusion's corner.
Oh,
Yuki goes onto the grass, but Yuki is not backing down without a fight.
Yeah, ushering Yuki just a bit wide there, and he takes that position right back. Wow, that was, that was tough.
Well played, though, also from the German driver of Alex, just to keep those two cars behind and force them to fight amongst themselves while his gap just increases, effectively locking in his position for P2.
Yeah, now we can see how big of an advantage Alex has gotten from Illusion having to switch his focus to defense there. As now there's about a 2-second gap, and it's the final lap, so I think that will have ended Illusion's hopes of trying to get P2 off of Alex there. But we'll see if Yuki can make it happen, as there's a whole lap left for Yuki to try to make it happen. But
Yuki got onto the grass just a bit, so that might have ruined his chances ever so slightly. But he's got tire life onto Illusion, and those tires aren't even well done at that point. Their congratulations on how much those tires are cooked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolute. Oh, and he goes onto the... I see what you mean now, but that's a half-second penalty for going too much onto the grass. His podium contention is done for unless Illusion absolutely bins it, which I do not think is going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Barring a big mistake, Yuki just sealed his fate there, or getting a bit too greedy with the track limits. But nonetheless, he knows the situation. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, but changing focus to the man who's about to win this race. He's got one corner left. After a dominant display, as usual, Whiteout takes victory here in Autopolis, here in Japan. A dominant drive from start to finish. And Whiteout takes another win in the books.
And Alex here, after another lap one, turn one incident and spin out, going back to the grid, recovers once again in the podium positions. An Illusion holding on to a podium just barely, with Yuki having an excellent effort, almost taking it from him there on the final lap.
And then the half-second penalty has been applied to him, but Nuko was so far
got
back.
it.
He got fastest lap.
Yeah,
there
Nuko got the fastest lap on the final lap as he crosses the line to finish his race. And here comes
Arturo is going to finish. He will finish a lap down. Same with Killswitch, who's just going to slide. Unfortunately, this is not a drift competition. Otherwise, that might have been a solid 7 out of 10 for drifting. Oh, he's just throwing that car around, giving us a little bit of a show. He slides into 7th place. And that is the race done.
Well,
Excellent
sweet.
stuff there from all of these drivers involved. Your winner, without any real form of contest, it is Whiteout driving the Honda, the white and
Yeah.
black Honda. Whiteout driving a white Honda. Hey, that's pretty funny. But anywho, that is the end of our race here.
Yeah, that was excellent and good drifting there from JD. Pretty good Mongees there at the end. Not bad, not bad. And
That would have definitely been top of the charts if it was NFS 2015 in a drift playlist.
and so I know as well. I got Yuki and I got Atura and maybe JD Killswitch, but for sure Yuki and Atura ready to go if we want to try a post race interview. And
Yeah,
I
let's
believe
bring him on in.
they should have their settings set up properly here. I'm guessing. Let's get Yuki in first because he had a better result there in a excellent race at the end of the race there with Illusion. Super impressive stuff. And we'll give them just a handful of seconds. There he is. Hey Yuki. And also just make sure that your settings are set to allow your voice to be shared for the stream. All right, excellent. Well, what a race from you, man. How'd you feel about the strategy? Did you go 3 sets of mediums? Yeah, after having seen the race, I do think that probably was the optimal strategy after all. So yeah, talk to us about your race there with Illusion at the end there. Yeah. Yeah, we did see you have a little adventure off into the grass as he retook that. But yeah, and it was an excellent race between you and Nuko too for the first majority of the race. It looked like it was all gonna be down between you and Nuko. He eventually did spin out though, but what were you seeing there with your fight with Nuko? Yeah. Excellent interview, Yuki. You're doing great. Cool. So you're happy
Yeah,
with the
you had
strategy you picked? Yeah, absolutely. I think so. You've been improving quite a lot race after race, for sure. Rekus, you got anything for him?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, did you what happened there with that penalty there towards like the last stages of the race? Was it just got a little too hungry for that inside, or just talk us through that, or did you just generally lose traction? Yeah, yeah, it's we were seeing that a lot during the practice and qualifying too. So, but hey, you had a great race today, and we look forward to seeing you racing again here soon.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks for joining us. And we'll get Pixel out of here and we'll see if we get Artura in here for a second. Oh, there he is. Greetings,
Hello.
Artura. So, what
Hello.
happened there on turn one, on lap one there?
Um, I think I went too wide on the grass and went too happy on the throttle, and then I span out. I was also slightly boxed in. That's part of it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, so you did that all on your own because I saw a couple of people and it got dusty. I couldn't really see exactly why it happened, but I saw Alex spin too. There was no contact at all.
For my part, no. I might have checked. I have to check the replay, but I didn't think I hit him.
Okay. So did it look like Alex spun on his own too, or did you see contact ahead of you?
I didn't see contact. I was behind Boyd, so I'm not sure what could have happened there.
Yeah. And
We
so
know Alex has been known in this series in particular for having some sort of lap one incident, so that's why we wanted to get your perspective on the whole incident.
yeah, you had a front row seat for it. It was very nice. But
Yeah.
so what strategy did you end up going with?
With one stop, I went to medium, and at the end it worked out rather well because I
One
could
stop.
stay in front of JD for mostly the entire race after he did his pit stop.
Well, one stop is insane. So how many laps did you go? There are two sets of mediums?
Yeah.
That's impressive. So how many laps did you go on each stint there?
16 and 15. So 16 on the first one, and then at the end 15 because the car got lighter and the tires were less damaged than the stint before.
I see. Okay. Well, even though Yuki had his voice set to share, some people in the comments still say they didn't hear him. So I wonder if people hear you or not, there, Artura.
Yeah, they do. I have my own phone open,
Oh,
so I
okay,
hear
cool.
myself at least.
That's super weird. We'll have to figure out why that's
Well, I
happening.
mean, if you have the stream on your phone and you're hearing your voice, then everybody else is going to be hearing it too. So
Yeah,
Yeah, I hope so.
sweet. Yeah, we got confirmation there from Pixel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so wait, do we know what the next round is? What the next track is?
I could pull it up on my
Suzuka.
phone probably.
It's Suzuka.
Oh, Suzuka. So do you
Suzuka.
have any predictions for that race, Artura, or anything you're looking for in particular coming up in the next round?
I hope to finish it off strong. No certainties, of course, but I do like the track, so we're gonna give it our best shot.
Absolutely. Any personal goals for you?
Not finish last. It's
Not
probably,
last is a good goal.
I'll be known to spin out in the first corner, so that's why I go for this race, not spin out on the first lap.
No Spinala.
Yeah. I don't want to be known as Nikita Mazepin at the end.
Absolutely, yeah. That's not a good thing to be known as. Well, excellent. Yeah, thanks for the interview, and it was an excellent race
Thanks
to
for having
watch.
me.
Yeah,
And we'll see you next round.
absolutely. See you guys.